Style takes too long. I can't fit anything. I have nothing in this closet. Oh, I'll just stay home. I need to purge my closet. Oh, but not that dress. Yo, Taylor here. If you ever thought to say one of these phrases, then this show is for you. Join me at the Style Table where we'll have candid and fun conversations about real women's style issues and wardrobe dilemmas. We will discuss solutions and ideas that will give you a big sigh of relief. You'll learn ways to save money, make money, and enrich the lives of others with the clothes in your closet. We're going to take the stress out of your style. It's Yo on the Go back here at the Style Table. I'm here with my special guest, Bernie Frazier. She is the president and founder and CEO of Career Compass LLC. Welcome to the show, Bernie.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Yo.
What we want to get right into is you were a career corporate recruiter.
A leader, recruiting leader.
That was, yeah. So from there, you decided to start your own business as a consultant and coach and public speaker and author, and I'm sure a whole list of other talents. What made you pivot from the corporate world to creating your own world, your own empire?
Well, it's interesting. I was in recruiting. I had been in recruiting for, I guess at that time, maybe about 20 years or so. And I wasn't full-time until about 8 years into my corporate career. But I ended up transitioning from one department into HR at this one particular organization that I had worked for a little over 3 years. And all of a sudden, people started coming to me, Bernie, I need your help. I'm thinking about looking for another job. Don't tell anyone, but I need some help with my resume and interviewing and so forth. So the coaching really started there. And I can't believe it's been this is actually year 25. And I did that, for many years, evenings and weekends. And one day I woke up probably about 12, 13 years ago. And I went, you've been spending a lot of your personal time helping people. You should start the business and really, really formalize it. And so that's what I did. So this is, I hit my 11-year anniversary in January, and I did it part-time. I was still a recruiting leader, but I was working on my business again, evenings and weekends. And somewhere during that period, I think the entrepreneurial bug hit me. And I went, you know what? I really enjoy this. I was gaining some traction. And I thought, I think I'd like to do this full time. And it's one of the things that I have shared with a number of clients over the years. You've got to stretch yourself. And I did not want to celebrate my 80th birthday with regret for things that I didn't at least try. And I thought, you have to try it. You're going to have to step out. So, I had a plan and just, worked my plan. And a little over 8 years ago, I stepped out full time.
Wow. And that is an inspiring story. And I can totally relate to deciding I don't want to be 80 years old thinking, man, what if I had actually taken that chance?
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Do you feel like making the pivot from corporate to your own business with your own branding, did that give you the flexibility to show off your own style, creativity, and do you feel like you were more in a style box in corporate, and now you can kind of express yourself more freely?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, when you're in corporate, everyone has a boss, and I still have bosses. They're called clients. So I still have bosses, but in a different way. But in corporate, there are people you're trying to impress, and there's a certain expectation. And, especially coming into corporate during the time that I did, I can still remember the days when it was business attire every day. And, obviously the rules have loosened up over the years, but there's still that expectation. And, but when you're doing your own thing, you do have an opportunity to express more of who you are as a person. And so that is really nice that you can do it. Even something like this jacket that I have on, I don't know if I would have worn this to a corporate job. It may have been a little too much for people, but when you're doing your own thing, you show up. You obviously still want to be mindful of your external image. You want to be mindful of your clients, but you also want them to really see more of you and who you are. And I think that when you have your own business, it does give you more of that latitude.
And you get to create your own signature style,
Mm-hmm.
your own branding style. Like
Mm-hmm.
we discussed, red is your color.
Red is my color. I have a little bit on today. Normally, with things like this, and certainly when I do speaking, I try to wear red. I had an engagement last Friday and I thought, you know what? I'm going to mix it up just a little bit. So I had on a black jacket with white stripes in it, but I had a big red flower here and I had on my red lipstick. So I said, I still have to represent my red.
See, that's awesome. And I wear red in your eye.
Thank you very much.
Plus, it's a bright color. It's spring. I'm so mentally there for bright
Mhm.
colors. Yeah,
Yes.
it definitely is. Red is especially for a speaker, it's a very notice me color. It's a very powerful color.
Hmm.
And listen to me. I have something to tell you.
Right.
Kind
And
of
I
color.
think, yeah, red is my favorite color. So that certainly made it easier. But I have a girlfriend who does image coaching. And years ago, she did a color analysis on me. And I realized that those vibrant, those bright colors, the jewel tones, those are my colors. So that helped to reinforce the red. And then, like you said, red is a power color. And I thought, when I'm speaking, I want to demonstrate authority.
Right.
And, red is a power color. And so I have always incorporated red. And it was so funny. I had probably been doing this for about 3 years and really didn't realize that people were taking notice. But I would do posts and people would go, oh, she's got on her red again, or you have on your red again, or, there's the lady in red. And I went, oh, people are noticing this.
People
So
are
I
doing
went, yeah, I said, so, okay, this is another thing for me to use to stand out. And so
Mhm.
I have fun with it.
See, that's awesome. That's awesome. And you've also written a book. Want to
Hmm.
tell us about that? I love the
Sure.
title.
The book is titled Your Success is in You, Empowering and Equipping You to Create Your Best Career Ever. It's primarily career focused, but there are key parts of it that are for anyone, whether you're in business, whether you're looking at your life. It was really designed for people who are what I call bored, burned out, or frustrated in their careers. And just some things for them to think about. Some insights that I share. I share a little bit of my own journey in there, and to give people some what I call inspiration to challenge them and to equip them to help them start to create the career that's really going to bring them the success and satisfaction that they want.
Wow. That's perfect. Finding the your power inside. The power's inside of you. And
Yes,
we forget that sometimes. I forget
yes,
it sometimes. I have to remind myself that, listen, I control this.
yeah. And we all do. I do
Hmm.
too. That's one
Hmm.
of the things I share with clients. I share when I'm speaking. I share where I've missed it. Or I share, the challenges. And I've had times I'm like, hey, I was struggling last night. And here I am up on stage in front of you today, sharing about how I've missed the mark. But it is so true. And I think a lot of times people become complacent,
Hmm.
we become tired, and we become lazy.
Oh,
Oh, I just want to, I'm just going to see what's going to happen. And I want to say, I can tell you what's going to happen. Nothing. because
Right.
you have to be in the driver's seat of your career. The employment contract has changed. There is no corporate big brother anymore that has this path laid out for you that you can follow. It's about what you create and how you position yourself and how you get connected and how you get the exposures that you need. But you have to really be in the driver's seat to create that. And I really try to help people understand that and give them some insights on how they can drive it successfully.
When we come back from the break, this is so good. This is so good. When we come back from the break, I'm going to ask her how style helps put you in that driver's seat. Everybody, it is Yo to go back here at the style table with Bertie Frazier. We're going to pick up where we left off. We were talking about taking power and control over your own destiny. You can do this with style as well. How can a person show that they're taking power by how they show up in their style?
Well, you can just look at them and tell. When people show up, whatever the event is, they're doing their best to be not just appropriate, but to represent who they are at that time. And, it's not always about having the most expensive clothes because there's a limited number of people who can afford those. It's about having clothes that complement you, that highlight your assets. And I don't mean highlight, I mean highlight, not expose your assets, because there's a difference nowadays. But right. Things that really highlight who you are, but they're a reflection of who you are, and they're done in the best way possible. It could even be simple things like make sure your clothes are pressed. If you show up and your clothes aren't even pressed, I'm like, I know we live in a casual society, but I think a lot of times people lose sight of what they're doing, where they're going, and what they're trying to do. And, the style that we have, the image that we have, it makes a difference. Whether you're going out to try to find a mate on the dating circuit, whether you are going to a religious institution, a wedding, if it's an interview, if you are seeking a promotion on your job, how you show up in your style is a factor that people look at. Unless they're blind, we can't help but see it. And I think people need to really consider that more than they do nowadays in a lot of instances.
And being a corporate recruiter for so many years and HR, my goodness, you've probably seen everything.
Seen it all. I can think of some specific interviews that I've had where people walked in and I've gone in my mind, my God, what is she thinking? Or what in the world would possess you to wear that, to come into the interview looking like that? And then I get angry because I think you're wasting my time because you've already demonstrated poor judgment. And so it's going to be really hard for you to overcome that in the interview. But then I've had other interviews where I've gone, wow, this person was sharp and they were prepared. And I think, the example that I shared with you previously was many years ago. The company that I worked for, we used to recruit at a couple of large national conferences. And at this one particular conference, we met a gentleman who, the folks who were there, we did some on-site interviewing. We liked him and we said, hey, we want to bring you back into my town so that you can interview with some of our other leaders. So we set that up and I told him, I said, I'll pick you up from the airport. I went to pick him up. And at one, he was 6'5". So just with the height, he stood out. But when I looked at how he was dressed, I went, oh my God, he's sharp. I mean, the suit, his coat, his overcoat, it was like a trench coat. Just the way his shirt sleeves, I learned this about men's clothing, that a proper man's suit, his shirt should hang out about a half inch. I mean, he had that with the cufflinks and the tie and the shoes. I mean, he was so put together. And it was interesting, brought him into the interviews. Of course, I didn't say anything then, but once he finished, with his process, when I was doing a debrief, several of the men, they were like, did you see that suit he had on? He was super sharp. Wow, that was a nice suit. Everybody was talking about how nice he looked. And it was funny, he got an offer. Now, he had great credentials too, but I have to believe the impression that he made, it reinforced what we saw on his resume. And it reinforced his answers. And it reinforced his responses, and the quality of questions that he provided to us and how we viewed him. And after he got the job, he had been with the company, I'm guessing maybe 2 or 3 months. And I had a conversation with him about that. And I told him, I said, you were sharp. He said, yeah. He said, that's my interview suit. I said, keep that suit. I mean, that one stands out. And I bet you that was, oh my God, I know it was over 20 years ago. And I can still see him to this day, just how super sharp he was. And so I've always tried to help people understand, it's that first impression.
It is.
It is that first impression. And you, especially if you're doing something like interviewing, you're in a competition. Just because you're interviewing, that doesn't mean you're going to get the job. You're competing with, 3, 4, 10 other people. You want every advantage that you can get to stand out in a positive way. And your image, your physical, external image can be a big factor in that.
And think about it. You remembered him.
Oh.
And how he put all of that together in a way that was just polished, that you use that to help people basically improve their next chapter. You coach them on, listen, you want to up-level your career, you want to make a change, you want to do all these things. Here's an example of what it takes. And it's still, even from 20 years ago, it's still the same. And I would actually add the fact that he was 6'5". Some of my very first jobs, like in retail when I was in college, was working in men's clothing stores. How difficult is it to dress someone who's 6'5"?
Oh yeah.
He can't just buy things off the rack.
No.
He has to get things tailored, especially back then, because he's so tall.
Right.
So he took that extra effort, and that's why he said it's my interviewing suit, because I'm sure it cost a fortune, because he probably had to have it tailored.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, and it's interesting. I'm sure the other men realized that too. Because it fit him like that suit was made for him. And I'm 5'9", and I typically wear heels. So I am easily 6 feet. So I can appreciate that, being a woman, how difficult it is sometimes to find things that, for me, it's usually never long enough. And so I know how painstaking a process I have to go through. So as a tall woman, I could appreciate the fact that, his sleeves on his shirt were just long enough. The sleeves on his jacket were just long enough. His pants had the break at just the right point. And, they weren't dragging the ground, and he didn't look like Pee Wee Herman where they were 3 inches too short. Everything fit him so perfectly. It really made an impression.
The pants that are shorter, that's the
I should do that. I forgot you can see me. And I know it's the style.
Listen, that's okay. That's what makes the show real. It's just real talk. It's real talk, real reactions. But as a woman who's as tall as you are, it's difficult. It is difficult to find clothes, sleeves to fit long enough for us.
Yes.
Pants to fit long. I mean, if you find a pair of pants or a store or something like New York and Company, you know that you can get pants long enough to fit.
Yes. It's so funny that you say that, because that's literally who I was thinking about, was New York and Company, because they have a tall. And I bet you I probably have 15 pairs of slacks, and I can guarantee 12 of them came from New York and Company, because they have a tall and I have long legs. And I've just been amazed that, over the generations, humans have gotten taller. And I look at these young girls now, it's nothing to see a young girl who's 6 feet, 6'1". And I keep thinking, why aren't these designers making clothes for taller young girls and more seasoned ladies like myself? Because we're tall. And I think, you want models my height, but you don't make clothes for us.
Right.
It just blows my mind. Yeah. But it is so important. If you find that place, I think New York and Company should give us a little bit of a kickback here, because we're giving them some promotion.
We need we need at least a discount. We need
exactly. But it just, it is important to really try to find clothes that are going to fit you properly. People want to go, I don't have to worry about that. Depends on what you want.
It is. You dress like what you want to receive. You dress like the energy that you want to receive. And,
exactly.
And I this is such, we could go on forever with this.
Yes.
This is just such a great topic. And I know I'm going to tap you again and go, Bernie, can you come do another interview?
Absolutely. I'd love to.
Oh my goodness. This is such great stuff. Great stuff. Bernie, can you please tell everybody how they can contact you?
Sure. You can go to my website. It's careercompassllc.com. So it's the word career. It's Compass, the navigational tool, llc.com. And I'm also on social media too. So yes, you can find me. Oh my goodness, LinkedIn. I have a Facebook fan page, Career Compass LLC. I'm on Instagram, Bernie.Frazier, and I'm on Twitter, B.A. Frazier. So my initials, B.A. and Frazier.
And you guys know you can always find me, Yo Taylor, at thestyletable.com. I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. I'm also on YouTube at The Style Table LLC.
Bye-bye.